Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. We welcome all devotees for our evening Krishna book reading session. So, yesterday we completed chapter 52 successfully, and now we are entering chapter 53. Krishna kidnaps Rukmini. So, I will read first two paragraphs and then Aditya Prabhu can read and then Rishikesh Prabhu can read. After hearing Rukmini's statement, Lord Krishna was very much pleased. He immediately shook hands with the Brahmana and said, My dear Brahman, I am very glad to hear that Rukmini is eager to marry me, since I am also eager to get her hand. My mind is always absorbed in thoughts of the daughter of Bhīṣmaka, and sometimes I cannot sleep at night because I am thinking of her. I can understand that the marriage of Rukmini with Shishupal has been arranged by her elder brother in a spirit of animosity toward me. So I am determined to give a good lesson to all of these princes, just as one extracts and uses fire after manipulating ordinary wood. After dealing with this demonic princess, I shall bring forth Rukmini like fire from their midst. Krishna, upon being informed of the specific date of Rukmini's marriage, was anxious to leave immediately. He asked his driver Daruk to harness the horses for his chariot and prepare to go to the kingdom of Vidarbha. After hearing this order, the driver brought Krishna's four special horses. The names and descriptions of these horses are mentioned in Padma Purana. The first one, Shaibya, was greenish. Second, Sugriv, was greyish like ice. The third, Meghapushpa, was color of a new cloud. And the last, Balaka, was of ashen color. When the horses were yoked and the chariot was ready to go, Krishna helped the Brahman up and gave him a seat by his side. Immediately they started from Dwarka and within one night arrived at the province of Vidarbha. The kingdom of Dwarka is situated in western part of India and Vidarbha is situated in northern part. They are separated by a distance of not less than 1000 miles. But the horses were so fast that they reached their destination, a town called Kuṇḍina, within one night or at most 12 hours. Kuṇḍina या फिर कौंडिन्यपुर. So you see, in Maharashtra, there are three prominent places where we worship Mahalakshmi or Rukmini ji. First is Kaundinyapur, Amravati in Vidarbha. Second is कोल्हापुर कोल्हापुर में महालक्ष्मी की पूजा होती है एंड थर्ड इज पंढरपुर इन पंढरपुर ऑल्सो यू विल फाइंड महालक्ष्मी इज देयर रुक्मिणी एंड राधारानी इज ऑल्सो देयर सो राई आणि रुक्माई both are there. So three places in Maharashtra and many more places are there. Saptashringi is there, Chatushringi is there, but these three places are very prominent because of Mahalakshmi, Rukmini ji. And I was hearing from Radhesham Prabhu. Radhesham Prabhu was telling कि the father of Rukmini, Bhishmak, he represents the intelligence. And these four brothers and these five brothers and Rukmini, they represent the senses. So Rukmi is the mind. रुक्मी की तुलना जो रुक्मिणी का बड़ा भाई था उसकी तुलना मन से की गई है जो कि कृष्ण के खिलाफ था और रुक्मिणी की तुलना किससे की गई है रुक्मिणी की तुलना की गई है कानों से इंद्रिय द द सेंसेस ऑफ हियरिंग सो व्हेन यू एंगेज द हियरिंग जो हमारा हियरिंग का जो पावर है उसको हम भगवान की सेवा में लगाते हैं जैसे रुक्मिणी ने कृष्ण के बारे में सुना था बचपन से और सुनते सुनते वो बड़ी हुई थी तो क्या होगा हम अपने हम अपने आप को कृष्ण को समर्पित कर सकते हैं सो रुक्मिणी रिप्रेजेंट्स फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल दैट इज श्रवण हियरिंग हियरिंग अबाउट कृष्णा तो ये पॉइंट राधेश्याम रोजी बताते हैं अपने क्लास में तो फिर हम बड़ी आसानी से कृष्ण को सरेंडर कर सकते हैं ओके फाइन आदित्य प्रभु यू कैन रीड नेक्स्ट टू पैराग्राफ्स
King Bhīṣmaka was not enthusiastic about handing his daughter over to Shishupal, but he was obliged to accept the marriage settlement due to his affectionate attachment for his eldest son, who had negotiated it. As a matter of duty, the king was decorating the city for the marriage ceremony and acting in great earnestness to make it very successful. Water was sprinkled all over the streets, and the city was cleansed very nicely. Since India is situated in the tropical zone, the atmosphere is always dry. Dust always accumulates on the streets and roads, so they must be sprinkled with water at least once a day. And in big cities like Calcutta, twice a day. The roads of Kuṇḍina are arid with colored flags and festoons, and gates were constructed at particular crossings. The whole city was decorated very nicely. The beauty of the city was enhanced by the inhabitants, both men and women, who were dressed in fresh, washed clothes and decorated with sandalwood pulp, pearl necklaces and flower garlands. Incense burned everywhere, and fragrances like agru scented the air. Priests and brahmanas were sumptuously fed and, according to ritualistic ceremony, were given sufficient wealth and cows in charity. In this way, they were engaged in chanting Vedic hymns. The king's daughter Rukmini was exquisitely beautiful. She was very clean and had beautiful teeth. The auspicious sacred thread was tied on her wrist. She was given various types of jewelry to wear and long silken cloth to cover the upper and lower parts of her body. Learned priests gave her protection by chanting mantras from the Samaved, Rig Veda, and Yajurveda. Then they chanted mantras from Atharva Veda and offered oblations in the fire to pacify the influence of different stars. King Bhishmak was experienced in dealing with brahmanas and priests when such ceremonies were held. He specifically honored the brahmanas by giving them large quantities of gold and silver, grain mixed with molasses, and cows decorated with cloths and ornaments. Damghosh, Shishupal's father, executed all kinds of ritualistic performance to invoke good fortune for his son. Shishupal's father was known as Damghosh due to his superior ability to cut down unregulated citizens. Dama means curbing down, and Ghosha means famous, so he was famous for controlling the citizens. Damghosh thought that if Krishna came to disturb the marriage ceremony, he would certainly cut him down with his military power. Therefore, after performing the various auspicious ceremony, Damoghosh gathered his military provisions. He took many elephants garlanded with golden necklaces and many similarly decorated chariots and horses. It appeared that Damghosh, along with his son and other companions, was going to Kuṇḍina, not exactly to get Shishupal married, but mainly to fight.
Thank you. So here the background is mentioned about how King Bhishmak was very expert in honoring Brahmanas according to their post and position. Like some people honor respect in the mind, some people we respect with words, and some people with we respect with body. तो इस तरह से अलग अलग लोगों के साथ में हमको एक अलग अलग तरीके से बर्ताव करना होता है. So he was very expert in that. And then शिशुपाल के बारे में बताया गया है कि शिशुपाल father was known as दमघोष and he came with his army to fight with Krishna. अगर वो कृष्णा वहां पे आके प्रॉब्लम करता है so he will fight with Krishna. So for that he came. Okay, so Rishikesh, please read next two paragraphs. Then Prasanna can be ready.
When King Bhīṣmaka learned that Damghosha and his party were arriving, he left the city to receive them. Outside the city gates were many gardens where guests were welcome to stay. In the Vedic system of marriage, the bride's father received a large party of the bridegroom and accommodates them in a suitable place for 2 or 3 days until the marriage ceremony is performed. The party led by the Damghosh contained thousands of men, among whom the prominent king and personalities were Jarāsandha, Dantavakra, Vidurth, and Pondrak. It was an open secret that Rukmini was meant to be married to Krishna, but that her elder brother Rukmi had arranged her marriage to Shishupal. There was also some whispering about the rumor that Rukmini had sent a sent a messenger to Krishna. Therefore, the soldiers suspected that king might cause a disturbance by attempting to kidnap Rukmini. Even though they were not without fear, they were all prepared to give Krishna a good fight to prevent the girl from being taken away. See, Balram received the news that Krishna had left to Kuṇḍina accom- accompanied only by the Brahmana, and the Shishupal was there with a large number of soldiers. Balram suspected that they would attack Krishna, and thus, out of great affection for his brother, he took strong military division of chariots, infantry, horses, and elephants, and went to the precincts of Kuṇḍina. Meanwhile, inside the palace, Rukmini was expecting Krishna to arrive, but when neither he nor the Brahmana who took her message appeared, she was full of anxiety and began to think how unfortunate she was. There is only one night between today and my marriage day, and still neither the Brahmana nor Shamsundar has returned. I cannot as- assert and any reason for this. Having little hope, she thought that perhaps Krishna had found reason to become dissatisfied and had rejected her fair proposal. As a result, the Brahmana might have become disappointed and not come back. Although she was thinking of various causes for the delay, she expected them both at any moment.
Yes, thank you. So, all about all the Krishna's competitors are mentioned here: Ondrak, Vidurat, Dantavakra, Jarāsandha, etc. And they also came with large number of soldiers because they knew that um, Krishna can come anytime and kidnap Rukmini. And here also mentioned Balram, Balramji. He understood that Krishna had gone alone. So Balramji also came with strong military divisions of chariots, infantry, horses, and elephants, and went to the precincts of कौंडिन्यपुर. और फिर रुक्मिणी के बारे में बता रहे हैं हाउ रुक्मिणी थॉट कि अरे क्या हुआ पता नहीं, ब्राह्मण भी नहीं आए, भगवान भी नहीं आए, तो अभी मेरी शादी में एक दिन बाकी है, तो कैसे होगा, क्या होगा. सो उनको लगा कि शायद अम, भगवान नहीं आने वाले हैं, या फिर वो ब्राह्मण भी उदास हो गया होगा, इसलिए उसने वापस आने का प्रयास नहीं किया. भगवान ने शायद उसका जो ऑफर है वो ठुकरा दिया है. और बट उसके मन में फिर भी आशा थी कि भगवान आएंगे. शी एक्सपेक्टेड देम बोथ एट एनी मोमेंट. ओके, थैंक यू. प्रशांत प्रभु, यू कैन रीड 2 paragraphs and then Tejas Prabhu can be ready.
Rukmani further thought that demigods such as Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Goddess Durga might have been displeased. It is generally said that the demigods become angry when not properly worshipped. For instance, when Indra found that the inhabitants of Vrindavan were not worshipping him, Krishna having stopped the Indra Yagya, he became angry and wanted to chastise them. Thus, Rukmani thought that since she did not worship Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma very much, they might have become very angry and tried to frust- frustrate her plan. Similarly, she thought that Goddess Durga, the wife of Lord Shiva, might have taken the side of her husband. Lord Shiva is known as Rudra, and his wife is known as Rudrani. Rudrani and Rudra refer to those who are accustomed to putting others in distress, to cry forever. Rukmani was thinking of goddess Durga as Girija, the daughter of the Himalayan mountains. The Himalayan mountains are very cold and hard, and she thought of goddess Durga as hard-headed and cold. In her anxiety to see Krishna, Rukmani, who was after all still a child, thought this way about the different demigods. The gopis worshipped goddess Katyayani, goddess Katyayani, to get Krishna as their husband. Similarly, Rukmani was thinking of the various type of demigods, not for material benefit, but in respect to Krishna. Praying to the demigods to achieve the favor of Krishna is not irregular. And Rukmani was fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. Even though she pacified herself by thinking that the time of Govind to arrive had not yet expired, Rukmani felt that she was hoping against hope, not expressing her mind to anyone. She simply shed tears, unabsorbed by others, unobserved by others, and when her tears become more forceful, she closed her eyes in helplessness. While Rukmani was in such deep thought, auspicious symptoms appeared in different parts of her body. Uh, Trembling began to occur in her left eyelid, arm, and thigh. When trembling occurs in these parts of the body, it is an auspicious sign indicating that something lucrative can be expected.
Thank you. So here it is mentioned that although there was a delay, but Rukmini maintained the hope that Krishna will come. And then suddenly what happened? Auspicious signs came upon Rukmini, and the left side of her body, left eyelid, left arm, left thigh, started shaking. And generally माताओं का जो लेफ्ट साइड है अगर वो शेक करता है सो इट इज कंसिडर्ड ऑस्पिशियस बट अगर हम लोगों का और प्रभु जी इफ अवर लेफ्ट पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी इज शेकिंग इट इज कंसिडर्ड इनऑस्पिशियस मतलब कुछ तो हमारे साथ में दुर्घटना होने वाली है बट माताओं के इसमें उल्टा है और अगर हमारा राइट साइड शेक करता है मतलब वो देन इट इज ऑस्पिशियस लाइक दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड तो ये सब संकेत थे कि भगवान आने वाले हैं ओके लास्ट तेजस प्रभु यू कैन रीड 2 paragraphs.
Just then, Rukmini, full of anxiety, saw the Brahman messenger. Krishna, being the super soul of all living beings, could understand Rukmini's anxiety. Therefore, he sent the Brahman inside the palace to let her know that he had arrived. And Rukmini saw the Brahman, she could understand the auspicious trembling of her body and immediately become elated. She smiled and inquired whether Krishna had already come. The Brahman replied that the son of the Yadu dynasty, Sri Krishna, had arrived. He further encouraged her by saying that Krishna had promised to carry her away without fail. Rukmini was so elated by the Brahmana's message that she wanted to give him in charity everything she possessed. However, finding nothing suitable for presentation, she simply offered him her respectful obeisances. The significance of offering respectful obeisances to a superior than the one offering obeisances is obliged to the respected person. In other words, Rukmini implied that she would remain ever grateful to the Brahmana. Anyone who gets the favor of goddess of fortune, as did this Brahmana, is without a doubt always happy in material opulence. When King Bhīṣmaka heard that Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma had come, he invited them to see the marriage ceremony of his daughter. Immediately he arranged to receive them, along with their soldiers, in a suitable garden house. As was the Vedic custom, the king offered Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma honey and fresh washed garments. He was hospitable not only to Krishna, Balarāma, and kings such as Jarāsandha, but also to many other kings and princes, according to their personal strength, age, and material opulence. Out of curiosity and eagerness, the people of Kuṇḍina assembled before Krishna and Balarāma to drink the nectar of their beauty. With tearful eyes, they offered Krishna and Balarāma their silent respects. They were very much pleased, considering Lord Krishna the suitable match for Rukmini. They were so eager to unite Krishna and Rukmini that they prayed the supreme prayed to the personality of Godhead. Our dear Lord, if we have performed any pious activities with which you are satisfied, kindly be merciful upon us and accept the hand of Rukmini. It appears that Rukmini was very popular princess, and all the citizens, out of intense love for her, prayed for her best fortune. In meantime, Rukmini, being very nicely dressed and protected by bodyguards, came out of the palace to visit temple of Ambikā, goddess Durga.
This is material possessions, not opulences. So while reading, we have to read as it is. So here it is mentioned that King Bhīṣmaka, he honored and welcomed and shown hospitality to Krishna, Balaram, and all the kings as per their personal strength, age, and material positions. Accordingly, he gave them respect. And Rukmini, being very nicely dressed and protected by the bodyguards, came out of the palace to visit temple of Ambika, goddess Durga. So यहाँ तक के हो गया है. Now what I will do is I will read. Okay, still chapter is remaining. Okay, so I will read one paragraph and then we'll stop. Deity worship in the temple has been in existence since the beginning of Vedic culture. There is a class of men described in Bhagavad Gita as Vedavadarata. They believe only in the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies but not in the temple worship. Such foolish people may here take note that although this marriage of Krishna and Rukmini took place more than 5,000 years ago, there were arrangements for temple worship. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Yanti Deva Vrita Devan, the worshippers of demigods attend the abodes of demigods. There were many people who worshipped demigods and many who directly worshipped Supreme Personality of Godhead. The system of demigod worship was directed mainly to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesha, Sun God, and Goddess Durga. Lord Shiva and Goddess Durga were worshipped even by the royal families. Other minor demigods were worshipped by silly lower class people. As far as the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are concerned, they simply worship Lord Vishnu, Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, the worship of demigods is condemned but not forbidden. There it is clearly stated that less intelligent men worship demigods for material benefits. On the other hand, even though Rukmini was goddess of fortune, she went to temple of goddess Durga because the family deity was worshipped there. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that as Rukmini proceeded toward the temple of goddess Durga, within her heart, she always thought of the lotus feet of Krishna. Therefore, when Rukmini went to temple, it was not with the intention of an ordinary person who goes to beg for material benefits. Her only goal was Krishna. As Rukmini proceeded toward the temple, she was silent and grave. Her mother and her girlfriends were by her side, and the wife of a Brahmana was in the center. Surrounding her were royal bodyguards. This custom of would-be brides going to temple of demigod is still practiced in India. As the procession continued, various musical sounds were heard: conch shells, drums, such as panavas, and bugles of different sizes, such as turias and bheris, combined to make a sound, which was not only auspicious but very sweet to hear. Thousands of wives of respectable Brahmanas were present, all dressed very nicely with suitable ornaments. They presented Rukmini with flower garlands, sandalwood pulp, and a variety of colorful garments to assist her in worshipping Lord Shiva and Goddess Durga. Some of these ladies were very old and knew perfectly well how to chant prayers to Goddess Durga and Lord Shiva. So, followed by Rukmini and others, they laid these prayers before the deity. A very important point: So Prabhupada is telling here, they knew perfectly well how to chant prayers to Goddess Durga and Lord Shiva. Because in demigod worship, अगर आप चैंटिंग करते वक्त मंत्रोच्चारण में जरा भी गलती हो जाती है तो पूरा मंत्र का मतलब मीनिंग चेंज हो जाता है एंड देन यू मे गेट द एग्जैक्ट अपोजिट रिएक्शन जो आपको चाहिए उसका उल्टा फल मिलता है और मिला भी है कई बार एंड डेमीगॉड्स आर वेरी पर्टिकुलर वो जैसे गॉडेस दुर्गा है अगर आप दुर्गा पूजा में जरा भी मंत्रों का हम लोग गलती करते हैं तो हमें उसका दंड जबरदस्त भुगतना पड़ता है लेकिन हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र में ऐसा नहीं है हम लोग हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र में भी बहुत गलतियां करते हैं लेकिन वो महामंत्र है इसलिए वो हम पर बहुत बहुत दयालु है लेकिन बाकी जितने भी देवी देवताओं की पूजा है कर्मकांड यज्ञ है उसमें मंत्रोच्चारण पे बहुत जोर दिया गया है उसमें अगर जरा भी गलती होती है तो मंत्र का पूरा मतलब बदल जाता है और कुछ और ही हो जाता है तो इसलिए यहाँ पे लिखा गया है कि जो ओल्ड लेडीज थे उनको पता था हाउ टू चैंट प्रेयर्स टू गॉडेस दुर्गा एंड शिवा परफेक्टली वेल एंड रुक्मणी एंड अदर्स दे लेड दिस प्रेयर्स बिफोर द डिटी फॉलोइंग द ओल्ड लेडीज तो ये पॉइंट हमें समझना है कि हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र में जो हम लोग गलतियां करते हैं उसको भगवान उतना सीरियसली नहीं लेते हैं लेकिन देवी देवता लोग बहुत जल्दी प्रसन्न भी होते हैं और बहुत जल्दी अपने भक्तों के ऊपर कुपित भी हो जाते हैं श्राप भी दे देते हैं इसलिए उनकी उनकी भक्ति करना खतरे से खाली नहीं प्रभुपाद जी वही बात को बता रहे हैं कि जो मूर्ख लोग होते हैं वो देवी देवी देवताओं की पूजा करते हैं लेकिन जो भक्त लोग होते हैं जिनके पास बुद्धि है वैष्णवगण वो भगवान की ही पूजा करते हैं वो बाकी किसी देवी देवताओं की पूजा नहीं करते या उसमें रुचि नहीं रखते और जैसे रुक्मिणी दुर्गा देवी की पूजा कर रही है क्यों क्योंकि उनको भगवान कृष्ण चाहिए थे वैसे ही गोपियों ने भी कात्यायनी माता की पूजा की भगवान कृष्ण चाहिए थे उनको अगर वो पूजा करते भी है देवी देवताओं की लेकिन उनका उद्देश्य क्या है कि हमें कृष्ण की प्राप्ति हो जाए और उनका दूसरा कोई उद्देश्य नहीं होता ठीक है सो वी विल स्टॉप हियर एंड यहाँ पे लिखा है प्रभुपाद ने लिखा है हर ओनली